Welcome to the Multitasking Maven Show. If you're tired of saying, I don't have time for that, you're in the right place. I help busy moms organize their time and get the most out of their days through videos, tips, interviews, and workshops. After taking one of my productivity workshops, Carol had to say, amazing! You've given me back at least 5 hours a week. If you would like to find time in your schedule, make sure to go to multitaskingmaven.com right there on the homepage and register. Now, let's get into today's episode. How can we get self-care? What is it? Why do you need it? And how can we get more of it? That is what we're going to be talking in today's episode. So, what is self-care? I'm sure everybody knows that whole phrase of, in an emergency situation, administer oxygen to yourself before your child or the elderly. That totally goes against like every mama instinct that there is. Because if my baby is in trouble, they're going to get something before I get something. I'm always going to come last. And that's the problem right there. We always put ourselves last. So what is self-care? Self-care could be a lot of things to a lot of different people. It could be an opportunity to sit quietly and have a cup of coffee. It could be to exercise. It could be to go outside and walk, yoga. There are a lot of different things that you can do for self-care. Self-care in and of itself is something that just literally kind of helps you reset. It restores your soul. It restores your spirit. It takes some of that stress away from you where you have the opportunity to just focus on yourself. And that in and of itself is almost kind of counterintuitive because as mothers, we let a lot of things pile up on us. We let our home pile up on us. We let our children, our job, our friends, everything that surrounds us really takes priority over what our needs are. And so why do you need it? You need it because just like within a job, you go, and maybe you have a special project and you're working 12, 14-hour days, there's only so much of that you can do before you get burnout until you get to the point where you're not happy, you're bitter, you become sarcastic. Am I hitting any of these points? You're tired and you just don't think you can take it anymore. Those are almost those baby years. But friends, let me tell you that as they grow older, the experience changes a little bit. They can take care of themselves, they can feed themselves, they can clothe themselves, but you still need to be there. I've got 3 teenagers in my life now. But today what I want to really focus on is how you can get more self-care. So I want to make sure that you go underneath this video, underneath the post, and click on the link and grab my self-care workshop. There I've given you a lot of different ideas on what self-care could mean to you and how you can brainstorm different things that you need that restore your soul. It could be something just as simple as stopping at a Starbucks. And you're like, how is that going to restore my soul? I love coffee. That's like one of my things. And I love Starbucks coffee. And when I walk into a Starbucks, it is almost like someone is enveloping me in this hug of warmth, the smell, just being able to take a moment and go get a cup of coffee. Because really, who is sitting in a coffee shop at 1 o'clock in the afternoon? I mean, what are these people doing? But I am there as well, so I am taking in that moment. And it's almost funny that I give you that example because now I take my kids because one of our little treats is those old-fashioned glazed donuts. The kids love those donuts. So that's a special Cersei, and if you don't know what a Cersei is a treat. That's a special Cersei that I share with my kids, so they get to share in that experience with me. When I talk about scheduling self-care, I don't want you to think about that you're scheduling this 3-hour block of time. How in the world am I going to have time for self-care? These are little moments within your week. They could be longer, they could be shorter, just like a trip to Starbucks, that are really just for you and that make you happy. Another thing that I really enjoy is vintage. I love vintage appliances. I love tables. I love the furniture. It's just so clean. It's so streamlined. It's so simple. And it's been around forever, so it's durable. I love vintage. And I love the minimalist approach to vintage. And because of that, in our home renovation, that is what I'm going for. That is the feeling that I'm going for. So I almost have like this self-care day where I am enveloped in this retro and a little bit of modern. So it's kind of an eclectic feel in my home. But what I want you to do is I want you to, number one, I want you to print out the printable. Number two, I want you to take a look at your calendar and I want you to see where there are moments for you to have self-care. Is it an opportunity after you've dropped the kids off at school? Is it an opportunity where maybe you start to utilize a mommy morning out program? Or maybe you say, I do want to work out, and you go do a boot camp. Or better yet, you find yoga online. I mean, there's so many different things that you can do in terms of workout online now. You don't have to like pick up and go to a gym and do all of those things. You can almost do everything right there in your home. Another thing that I would love for you to think about is taking a walk, like walking the dog. We have a wonderful trail. It's more than a trail. It is probably 30 miles worth of bicycling trail. We live in this community and I've never seen this before, where there are so many bikers. And even though I'm not fast at all, probably one of the best gifts that my husband gave me was he went on Craigslist and he found me a road bike. And a road bike is just designed to be on the road. And so he bought this bike, he recycled a couple of things and turned that money into this road bike. It is one of my prized possessions because it allows me the opportunity to get on the trail, travel 30 miles. I don't go 30, I probably go 15. But I pop in a podcast or I pop in music and I breathe and I enjoy just being out in nature. I enjoy this activity, and it gives me, we're hearing a lot of buzz about white space, and it just gives me an opportunity to just like clear my mind. And it's not something that I have to do. It's something that I want to do. It's something that I know and I can remember that it gives me a good feeling. So your good feeling could be sitting down and sewing, sitting down and knitting, crocheting, maybe pulling out your craft supplies, maybe pulling out the silhouette that your husband gave you 2 years ago that you haven't pulled out of the box. That's a whole nother thing that we need to get into. But I want you to take the opportunity to examine what are those things in your life that just for you, I want you to carve out that space that is just for you, that brings you joy and restores you. It gives you that mental break that you need so that when you come back and you engage with your children, you're taking care of your children, your home, your life, your work, your friends, everything that is around you, you come in with a much clearer and a more refreshed perspective. And you're ready to engage because you are in control of that schedule. That schedule is not controlling you. I know that when my children were itty bitties, my husband and I, it was really important, and it still is important to us now, to have a date night. And they were really expensive date nights. I mean, between movie, dinner, and the babysitter, over $100. And I know in times now, it's a small mortgage payment to go to the movies or to go to a show or whatever it is you want to do with your spouse. But it was really important. That was part of self-care. That was part of our relationship. And continuing that connection as husband and wife and not mommy, daddy, all the time. So what I want you to do is I want you to print out the printable, see some of the suggestions for self-care that I've given you, write them down. And I want you, and even put how much time. that the particular thing that you've picked out or what you currently do, how much time that takes. And then I want you to take a look at your calendar. And your mission this week is to schedule one opportunity. And I said opportunity, I didn't say day, didn't say hours. Opportunity for self-care. This is for you. This is to carve out your time. This is to help restore your soul. This is to help restore and give you some white space, some clarity. So when you step back in your role of being mom, you are prepared and you come at it with a more positive perspective. All right, until next time. Thank you for listening to today's episode. For show notes and links, go to multitaskingmaven.com. Remember, register for the Manage Mama Overwhelm Productivity Workshop so I can help you find time in your busy schedule. We'll see you soon.